Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and my blog is called qvsquest.com. And this morning I'm having some little issues posting to my blog. So if you are looking for my blog posts for additional photos, those will be up as soon as I can get my blog posting. It just will not let me post a blog today. But that is, everyone experiences technical issues because things are always changing, updates happen, and if you haven't posted for a few days and then all of a sudden you go to post and it doesn't work. So I am dealing with that this morning, but I thought I'd go live anyway because I can always pop this live onto my blog post afterwards. And I have included my full supply list down below in the description of this video, so you have access to all the information you need except maybe for like still photos and things like that. So just have a look down below and you'll find everything that you need. All right, well, it is Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. It's called Casing Tuesday, and we have a Facebook group where you can join in, post your photos, look at other people's cards, and the cards all start from a certain starting point. I love this because we are all busy, and sometimes just having a little bit of a starter point, like looking at a catalog photo and being able to take that and turn it into another card is so useful, because then you're not just staring at a blank piece of cardstock and thinking, can I start? You can like look at a card with similar sized images and you can just plug and play. And once you do this a lot, it gets easier and easier. So last night I was designing my card and I wanted to use the Waves of Inspiration bundle. So today I was able to use that, and the original card's a lot different. So let's go have a look at this original card right here. Here it is, and isn't it cute? A cute little spring card. I love it, and this is such an easy layout. I love this layout, and I'm going to show you how to make that little banner up at the top and how to have it kind of pop out on your card but still be able to go in the mail. That's always important. I try and do most of my cards like that. Some are, special cards that you need a special mailer for, but most cards we want to be able to mail them flat. Okay, so here is the sketch. It's a very simple, basic layout. You can play with the measurements a little bit and tweak them to make them your own, but this is kind of good just to give you a starting point. I tweaked my measurements just a little bit just to make them work for my particular card. All right, let me pop over here. Let me make sure. My microphone's way up here. Wow, I need to bring it down closer. I hope you can hear me now and better. Okay. All right, so let's switch over to my other camera and let me show you the card of the day. Isn't this wave like so cool? I love it. And I stamped it in 2 colors. I'm going to show you in a minute how I did that. But this is not a hard card to create at all. And I love it because it's got a lot of kind of action happening. The little gems give it a little light. I'm going to show you how I made it. Oh, and I have an alternate as well for afterwards. This is the Waves of the Inspiration bundle. This is a bundle that will be in the annual catalog coming up. It's kind of a preview bundle. You can order it right now this month. So if you love it, go ahead and get it now. It's really cool. There are 3 things that you can only get for a limited time. These will not be in the annual catalog. That is the beautiful Waves, the ocean paper. It is gorgeous. It was made by an artist at Stampin Up from prints made from paint. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got some of this beautiful foil sheet. This is called Blue Foils. That's limited time as well. And then the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels, they're limited time. And if you placed an order of $50 or more with me last month, these jewels went in the mail yesterday. So hopefully you should be getting them in not too long. But they're just beautiful, different shades of blue and blue green, and they're just so pretty. We'll be using some of those on today's card too. Okay, so let me pop that over there, this over here, and then we will get started with our card. So I started off, the main part of the card is this piece right here. So this measures 3.5 inches by 5 inches. And you're gonna want to protect your work surface because this stamp needs kind of a large block. This is actually the largest block that we sell. It's an F block. We do have 2 other large blocks, but it didn't quite fit on either one of them. I just want to show you. So if you're just doing a partial stamp, you could probably fit this on an E block. And then this other block is just a little bit too narrow for it. I'm sure you could probably make it work. This is an I block, but this big block fits the whole stamp, and this is a, oh my gosh, I can't even read that. It's an F block. This is the F block, and this is for our background stamps, but it's also going to fit this stamp perfectly. So I am going to pop those blocks back. Okay. So first let's start off by creating that wave image, and I'm going to use 2 colors of ink to create that. So I'm going to start off with, we'll start off with the Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to keep my stamp face up because this block with the stamp weighs a lot more than the ink pad, so it's easier just to tamp this on here. And I did trim my stamp down so I know exactly where the edges are. Usually there's just a little bit more. When you look at the top, the stamp is just a little bit in from there. And so this one you'll want to stamp standing up. And I'm just going to go a little bit over top of the corner so that it's actually goes right to the corner. So you want to have it so the stamp looks like it's sticking out beyond your piece of paper. And let's look at that beautiful image. And then I'm just going to clean this off camera here. I've got my chamois off to the side a bit. Okay. And I've cleaned it off of all the Balmy Blue. And now I'm going to come in. If you want a really crisp image, you can just do the Balmy Blue, but I want to add a little bit of extra color. So I'm going to bring this in again, and this time it's Pool Party. I've got my Pool Party ink. So this is, Balmy is kind of more of a true blue, and Pool Party has a lot more green in it. And then I'm just going to shift this ever so slightly and go just a little bit, either go further up or further down. Let me go further up and kind of go directly over top of the cardstock this time with the lighter color. All right, you can kind of see the wave now has a little bit of action to it. It's a little bit blurred out because I've added the Pool Party onto it, but that's the look I'm going for. I wanted to add a little bit more color to it than what I had before. All right, so now I'm going to turn this over, and notice how you can see this on the right looks really white, and this one has a kind of a light blue hue to it. So what I did was I'm going to take my blending brush, and I'm going to take Balmy Blue. And sometimes I like to blend on a kind kind of a window sheet, and but this time I want to make sure that I don't go too dark because I just want a light blue sky. So I'm going to actually blend off of just a regular computer sheet. So I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to make sure I take most of the ink off because I don't want a really dark color. So I'm going to start off very light, because you can always add more color, but it's not possible to take it off. So I'm just blending and adding blue, just working it in. I love working with these brushes because it really goes quickly to add the color. And you can see how much color I took off. But now I'm still working it in, and I'm getting a kind of a blue color. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Just a really light kind of sky blue. All right, I think I am done with my scrap piece of paper. Okay. So let's do the next thing, which is let's create this banner right here. So for that, I took a piece of balmy blue cardstock because we're using balmy blue in this. And this measures 5 1/4 inches by 1 inch. And we're gonna take our, where did it go? I'll drop one across the room. This scoring board, I have more than one scoring board because I have one usually next to my desk, but I put some stuff on it because I'm working on a bunch of projects at the same time. So this is my beat up scoring board because I use it the most. I use it for all my projects and stuff, so it gets used a lot. Okay, so just put your long side up at the top, and you're going to score at the 1 inch mark and the 1 1/4 inch mark, okay? And then just flip it to the opposite side and do the same, 1 inch and 1 1/4 inches. This will ensure that your banner that you're creating is equal on both sides. This is just an easy way. If you want to make your banner a little shorter, you can. You just do an inch and an inch and 1 1/4 inches on both ends, and you could make this a little bit shorter. Like say you wanted to start off with 5 inches or 4 3/4 inches, you could. All right, so let me put that aside, and then we'll bring in our banners. Pick a punch and just banner punch the 2 ends. Put that in there. Okay, and then we'll take our bone folder, fold that one down, fold that one down, and then we're going to fold this one in the opposite direction. And in a moment, I'm going to show you how I layer everything up. Okay, so it's like that. I probably should have done my stamping while it was still flat. That would have been a really great idea, but I didn't, so we're going to do it now. At least now I can see really clearly where I need to stamp. So let's grab, this one says, "You're so totally awesome." I love this stamp. Okay, so just line it up, center it. And there we go. I'm using Night of Navy ink here. All right. And then we need a card base. This card base is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And then I scored it in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. All right. So I'm just going to kind of lay this card out here, and I want to have room for the clouds up above and down below, and I need to let's actually go run those through first so I can lay everything out, and then I'll know when to where to stamp my little birds, because that's what's still missing right here. So let's do the clouds, and I'll show you how to do that. I get to use my Mini Boss machine. Look at, so cute. And guess what? The Mini Stampin' Emboss is on sale right now for 20% off this month only. And it's normally $60, and now it's $48 in the US. And for the Mini Stampin' Cut Emboss, I originally started using plate number 1. And for my machine, because sometimes they're just slightly calibrated a little differently, this plate did not work well, and I was not very pleased. But if you use your number 3 plate, oh my gosh, this is an amazing little machine, and it's nice to have on your desk. So I'm going to put down my number 3 plate. It's the light gray plate, a number 2 plate. I'm going to grab, where is my scrap piece of cardstock? Aha, here, scrap piece of cardstock. And then let's grab the clouds. And the clouds, you can do them as a big, fluffy white cloud, just as an outline, but it also has a detail image with it. So grab all of these weird looking images. I don't know, these ones right here are birds, but all the other ones are cloud images, and I'll show you how to put those together, because I didn't know how to do that at first. It was a bit of a mystery to me. So let's go ahead and put the second plate on top. We're going to run this through. Okay, so let's pull out all of our little pieces. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's grab this. And 4. If you notice that your dies are starting to stick to your paper, I just take a piece of wax paper and put it into a ball, and then I rub it over the top right before, right onto the die, onto the cut side, not onto my cardstock. I just rub it over, and that kind of acts as a little bit of a release agent. And the nice thing about that is if you ever want to stamp on your die cut piece, the wax doesn't get onto your cardstock, and so you're able to stamp on it, and you don't have any kind of areas that are resisting ink because of the wax. So that's kind of a nice thing. Okay, I think I've done all my die cutting, so I can put my little Mini Boss away. All right, let's have a look at these clouds. So there's a big cloud and a little cloud, and then there's these weird pieces. I was like, what are those? I had to cut them out. It's like, what are they? All right, so basically they are the bottom of the cloud. So you just take a little bit of Tombow and just kind of add it onto there. And then you're just gonna line it up with the bottom of the cloud, and now your clouds have texture to them. They look so pretty. And then we'll do the same with this one. This one's itty bitty. Okay, and then I'll just add that onto there. Scoot it down to the edge. How's everyone doing this morning? I hope you're doing well. We have some nice sunny skies here this morning. I am loving that. Okay, so now we've got our clouds. We can go ahead and, well, maybe not. I don't want to glue this down quite yet. I was going to say glue it down, but I haven't finished stamping yet. I hate to glue anything down until I'm finished stamping. So I'm going to put this cloud under, this cloud over, and everything keeps shifting. Okay. All right. So I kind of just want to know where I want to stamp those birds. Okay, so I have this tiny little bird stamp. It's on an A block. When you have a tiny stamp like this, you need to be careful not to push it right down into the ink pad. These are foam pads, so if you push really hard, you're going to get ink on the stamp, the edge of the stamp, the block, and probably your fingers too. So what you want to do is just do a light touch and then have a look at it and see, did I get ink all the way on there? And it looks like I did. So I'm just going to add a very light touch and then lift straight off. Very light tapping again, get a little bit more ink on there. And then again, a very light touch. And I did trim this stamp up too, but just keep in mind when you have a tiny stamp like this, it's a very light hand you don't want to press down too hard because it's going to cause all sorts of problems. It's going to cause problems in your ink pad, even if you get a light image, like, I don't know, here, I'm going to show you. When you smush down, like this, I haven't inked again, but if you smush down, this is what's going to happen. You're going to smudge that ink. That little tiny line is going to get fatter rather than this, which has like, I don't know if you can see that on the left versus the right. So you just want a really light touch with those tiny stamps. A big stamp like this one, I need to stand up for. I need to turn it around and I need to take my time to really press it down hard onto the surface. But this little guy, just a very, very light touch. And over time, you'll find that you get better. You'll get muscle memory and you'll know exactly how to stamp each size stamp. All right, now that I've got those little birds on there, I can glue this piece down and just, okay, onto my card base. And this is Night of Navy card base. I don't know if I mentioned that. And this piece, I don't know if I mentioned how big my white piece was. It was 3.5 by 5 inches. So just a little bit in. There's a little less, I cut a little less off the top than I did off the sides. All right, so then this piece, let's see, let's put the clouds on first. This big cloud kind of lines up with the birds up at the top right here. Make sure I have enough room. And then I want to put this one down here underneath. Okay, so then you want to glue this, you want to just put glue on these banner ends, because what's going to happen is you want this piece to be able to pop up out of the card once the card is out of the envelope. So I'll put glue on here and here, and then I'm going to hold these down while I put this down. So I'm showing you right now because I might not be able to show you afterwards. So I want to make sure it's going to be flat while I'm gluing it. That way afterwards it's going to pop up. If I have it extended like this, then it's going to squish funny in the card, like when it goes inside. So you want to make sure when you're gluing it down, it's as it would be when it was flat in the envelope. So let's take our glue again. I'm going to leave a little bit of room up here at the top because that's where I'm going to pinch my card. I'm just going to leave just a little bit of room so my fingers can clamp down while I'm doing this. So I'm going to do the standing up. I'm pinching both of these banner ends together, and then I'm going to position it where I want it, center it, okay, press it down, And you just want to hold this for just a little bit just to make sure it's not going to shift on you. So this is how it's going to look when it's completely flat. And then when you release it, it's going to come up just a little bit and it's going to make your little greeting look great. Okay, so now we're going to take some of these jewels and add them to the card. And then maybe one more over here, up top here. Okay, and that's all there is to the card. I love it, right? Okay, so those are the two cards that I made one of these last night, and then I wanted to get the paper on here, but every time I added the paper, it was just too busy for me. And I've seen lots of beautiful cards with waves of the ocean, waves of inspiration. The suite is called Waves of Inspiration. No, the suite is called Waves of the Ocean, and the bundle's called Waves of Inspiration. And I love it when other people do it, but I don't love it so much myself because I don't like too many hugely busy patterns. I kind of like the more clean look. So this is what I did. I took a piece of the paper, and it is just absolutely gorgeous paper, and I cut it to the same width and length as I did with my white piece. It's 3.5 by 5 inches, and I mounted it on Night of Navy just like before. This time I did the exact same greeting, but I put it on basic white. And then I just added that cute little pelican image down below. And that little image, it's not hard to do this little image, but I kind of wanted to show you how I did it because I stamped this a couple of times and I didn't quite like the results. So I wanted to show you really quickly just how I colored the pelican. So I'm going to grab some of my colors that I need just really quickly off my blend storage. Okay, those are the colors I need, and I'm going to use Memento ink, and here is my pelican on the pylons. I don't know what you call them. There's probably a nautical term for these, but I'm just gonna pounce. This is a linen pad, so I'm pouncing on here. All right, and so I'm gonna stamp this down on here. All right, so it looks quite a bit different when you just stamp on here. And one thing I've noticed lately is that I kind of want to heat set this before I color with my blends. Keep the ink in its place by heat setting it. So let's start off with the wood. So I'm going to follow the dark parts of the wood with my crumb cake dark. I'm going to scribble over top, kind of do little swirls over top the dark, the outsides, and the inside of the log actually has kind of a light spot. So I'm just gonna, I know this looks terrible. It looked terrible when I did it before, but it gets looking better afterwards. I'm gonna dot kind of in between the rope. Come on this side right here. Okay, yeah, it looks awful, but it will look better. Just give me a second. This is the crumb cake light, and now I'm gonna blend over top of that dark crumb cake, and I'm going to blend in, doing little swirly circles. Do the same for here. I do believe my crumb cake is running out of gas. I need to replace it. I think I have an extra one, but I'll finish with this one, I think. This one. Okay, so now let's kind of go in between these ropes. I'm not going to color the ropes at all. I'm just going to pretend that they're kind of white. I'm just trying not to hit them with my crumb cake. And I'm going to keep swirling, swirling, swirling. Okay. So now they actually look a lot more like logs. They're brown now, and I've blended them. They've got some shading. So for the bird, I'm going to start off with Balmy Blue Light. This is a pelican. I looked at pelicans this morning to see how they were colored. And there wasn't really a great Stampin' Up color that it's kind of a blue-gray that's on a pelican. So I'm first going to color the pelican body, just the body in the balmy blue. And then I'm going to take my smoky slate light and go over top of it. So I'm trying to create kind of a blue-gray, kind of a dark blue-gray. So I'll come back in with my light blue balmy again. And I think it starts to go kind of a bluish gray when I do that. Okay. And then for the beak, I'm going to use, and the feet, I'm going to use Daffodil Delight Light, and I'm just going to dot. When you have a tiny little line to hit, it's hard to stroke like up on, but if you just dot it on that line going up, you can get kind of, it's easier to get a small line than if you were to try and drag it along your paper. So that's how I did the little pelican. I left the head white, and then I just ran it through. There is a die for that, and I ran it through my mini boss right here with this die right here. When you're doing that, take your time to center it. If you're going to do this, you might want to die cut it first, just in case you do a bad job of die cutting. Then you can go back in and you haven't colored the image first. So I would just use a little bit of Post-it note or some of this Post-it note tape to hold this in place as you're running it through. And then you get your card that looks like that. So it's kind of cute. And that's just an alternate if you want to do a slightly different look to your card. And all of the papers are so beautiful that you could make this card many times over. In fact, you don't even need this necessarily. You can just do a very simple card just by saying, "You're so totally awesome," because the paper is so awesome and pretty, just as it is. Maybe throw some bling on there too, and then you've got like some shiny little pieces. So that is my uncomplicated, I hope it's uncomplicated, Waves of the Ocean card. Oh, one other thing, I was really tempted. This also has some beautiful labels on there, and I could have stuck that label right on there. It would have looked really good too. But I wanted to stay true to the original card, so I actually did the banner. I think the banner looks really cool. But this also has this nice little label that matches the greeting, so you could also kind of just use that if you wanted to. All right, I think I have done talking about my cards. What do you think? Let's come back over. Hello, hello everyone. All right, So I do have a host code, and for the month of March, and this month, for every 50 you spend with me, you're going to get a pack of 6x6 retired designer series paper. I've got all sorts of patterns, and I know some people really stress out, like, I don't know what pattern I'm going to get. If that really, really bothers you, that you're so stressed out that you know you don't want to order because you don't know what pattern paper you're going to get, why don't you message me? Let me know. I probably can't get you the exact retired paper that you want, for sure not that, but maybe you could tell me what your favorite color is or your favorite season or holiday, and I can try and accommodate you with that, because I've got all different seasons, all different colors and things like that, so maybe I can get something that's up your alley. So it's for every 50 you spend, so if you spend $150, you're going to get 3 packs of paper. I remember one year I had someone I think it was during celebrations still, because I usually do this in March, and she had like 8 or 9 packs of paper. I'm like, yay, you get them. For every 50 you spend, I've got retired paper to accommodate. So the minimum and the package will be like 20 sheets, but usually it's more than that, and you're going to enjoy getting some fun paper to play with. And if you spend at least $15 with me this month, you'll also get one of my free with purchase tutorials. You just let me know which one. I have over 80 tutorials to choose from. Okay, I've done enough talking. Let's say hello to all of you. Good morning, Karen. Oh, and you have sun in New Jersey too. Good morning, Michelle. Michelle's on here. Michelle has these beautiful different supply items. So I was using her blending brushes storage holder this morning. Her website is stampyboxes.com. I love this. I didn't have a holder. Actually, I did have a holder. It was a jar, and this is so much better. I am loving this, and it's going to cause me to use my tools more often. I also have her little stampy box with all the little supplies, and I keep that on my desk now, because I used to always be like reaching over to the side to find all the things that I needed, and now I keep everything right in front of me, and I'm no longer going to have to do that. So that's really cool. Thank you so much, Michelle. Good morning, Karen. Karen loves the wave image. I do too. The only thing that's scary for me is it's very artistic, and sometimes with the clean and stamping style, it takes me a little longer to come up with a card for it. So I love it, but it also intimidates me a lot. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Dee. And thank you for sharing, Betty. Good morning, Bev. It's so good to see you. Good morning, Nina. Oh my gosh, you must be up super early this morning to catch a live. You're on the West Coast. Good morning, Ellie. Ellie loves my helpful hints. Well, thank you, Ellie. I really try and give hints because I'm one of those people that needs all the details. You need to tell me all the details because they're important to me. If you are not a detail person, then ignore my little helpful hints and just be happy stamping. But if you're a detail person like myself, I know you're going to appreciate those little hints. Thank you, Betty. I'm so glad you love the card. Janine said, Brenda, just a sidebar, the sound is really, really good today. Oh, well, that's awesome. I'm glad, because sometimes it's hard with sound, because a sound issue could be on my end, but it could also be on someone else's end. You never know. It's hard. Sometimes I'll get someone saying your sound was bad, and then I go back and check, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it could be you and your volume adjustments as well. It's so tricky with technology, right? Good morning, Dee. Aw, thank you. I'm so glad you love the card, the stamp set. Betty says, I like these uncomplicated card ideas. Aw, well, thank you. There's a die that goes over top of the waves and I didn't use it. I did try and add it, but for this short little narrow card, it just ended up being more trouble than it really added to the card. And I just love the look of stamping sometimes, just like stamping on a card. It just makes me happy. It's so quick and easy. If you have to make a bunch of these, you can make them a lot quicker than you can die cut and glue everything on, right? Thank you, Nina. I'm so glad that you like the card. And Janine likes it too. Oh, Dee, I love my bee necklace. Okay, so Dee is one of my team members, and she sent me this little bee necklace, and I'm wearing it. It's so cute. I sometimes forget to put on jewelry. I'm like such a practical, like get going in the morning kind of girl. So sometimes like I just forget to adorn myself, but I do like to wear a necklace if I can remember to put it on. And I thought it would look good and dress up my top because it's kind of a bland gray today. So thank you, dude. So cute. All right. Hello, Vicky from Virginia. Oh, Betty, you're up at 7 a.m. to catch me in Oregon. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate you. If you want to see my blog post later on, I will get that up as soon as I can. I am waiting for an email back from my tech support to see if there's what kind of issues I might have encountered. I don't think I've ever encountered this particular issue before, but I didn't have enough time to figure it out before I went live. So I will post that later on, and my email about the blog post will probably go out a little later than normal as well. Okay, well, I hope you have, oh, Vicky, I just saw you're new to cards. Well, welcome. I hope if you jumped on late that you'll go back to the beginning. I've got lots of videos. I do 2 lives a week. One I do on Facebook for you. This morning I'm on Facebook and I go live at 10 a.m. Eastern on my Facebook page, and then on Fridays I go live at 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. So, but all my videos will get loaded up to YouTube, and that's probably the easiest way for you to find them. And generally, except for today, I also have a blog post, which is kind of like a nice way you can search my blog and look for inspiration and ideas. And if you have any questions, Vicki, please reach out to me. I have a contact form down below. Let me know if there's something, since you're new to stamping, if you're having trouble with anything, I'd love to help. All right. Well, Betty, I'm glad that you can catch me on any Tuesday that you can be here. I appreciate you. Good morning, Diana. Well, yes, you're late. I'm about to go off, but I'm so glad you joined, and please watch the replay. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will be on YouTube on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern if you want to catch me then. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.